State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples.
This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native nations.
We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it.
As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed.
CSU is a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion.
And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon.
This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
Thank you. That will now be moving into the swearing in of new senators and associates. So if you're new, if you could please join us at the front.
Point of information, if somebody changed positions from associate to senator, okay, thank you.
I state your name.
I, Christina,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congrats. Coolio, with that, we'll now be moving into beginning roll call.
Speaker of the Senate, Reese.
Present.
Speaker Pro Tempore Jadon.
Here.
Parliamentarian Falbo.
Here.
Senator Jones. Senator Eddington.
Here.
Associate Senator Price. Associate Senator Escobar. Senator Bichal.
Senator Escobar's here.
Present.
Officer Diggs. Senator Chuck. Chairman Monty.
Present.
Senator Roberts.
Present.
Senator Rivera. Associate Senator Wilkin.
Present.
Senator Pata Perez.
Present.
Senator Dusterberg. Senator Jameson. Senator Taylor.
Here.
Senator Ornelius.
Present.
Senator Granier. Senator McCorkle.
Present.
Senator Garland.
Present.
Chair Casada Stoner. Present. Senator Vega,
Present.
Senator Candelario, Senator Leggett, Chair Rivera,
Present.
Senator Flores, Chair McLaughlin,
Present.
Senator Hansen, Senator Grant, Senator Corey,
Here.
Senator Bone,
Here.
Senator Mendoza,
Present.
Associate Senator Pratt, Senator Hernandez,
Present.
Senator Simpson,
Present.
Senator Frisky, Senator Fan,
Present.
Chair Gray, Senator Leary,
Here.
Associate Senator Ullman, Senator Jama,
Here.
Senator Jeffries, here. Associate Senator Grube, Chair Hill, Associate Senator Harris, Associate Senator Vogel, Associate Senator Markle, Associate Senator Robertson,
Here.
Chair Francis Gilroy,
Online.
Senator Tornado, and Senator Singleton.
Present.
Awesome, thank you. Just as a reminder for anyone new or anyone who might have switched positions, if you could fill out that plain paper in front of Charlotte at the front to make sure that you get a cool placard and can vote, that would be phenomenal. But with that, we'll now be moving into consent agenda. Is there any dissent to this agenda? Dissent. Chair Rivera.
I would like to motion to move the SOMAS bill. Yes, Bill 5534 after gallery, after guest speaker. I have to go. It's not because I want to, but I really have to go because I have a requirement for one of my internships, commitments, scholarships, etc. And I would really like it to be seen today since it wasn't able to be seen last week. But yeah, I appreciate it.
Cool. Is there any dissent to this motion? Hearing none, it'll be reflected that Bill 5534 will be read after the guest speaker. Is there any other dissent to this agenda?
Dissent. Could you move the ratification of the Director of Environmental Affairs up to the ratification of the Public Relations Intern ratification?
Are you asking for the ratification of the Director of Environmental Affairs to be moved into the consent agenda?
Yes.
Is there any dissent to this motion? Coolio. Hearing dissent, it won't be reflected. Is there any other dissent to this agenda? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move into gallery input. Does anyone from the gallery at this time wish to speak?
Appreciate you.
Hi everybody. I come here not as an associate senator, but as a graduating and concerned student. If you're not already aware, CSU has decided to hold college-specific ceremonies at 3 different venues, which will not only affect students, but also families and guests who are coming to celebrate their students. The College of Ag, Warner College of Natural Resources, and most of liberal arts ceremonies will be held in a tent next to the rec center and the foundry. And additionally, several others, including the rest of liberal arts, ROTC, honors programs, Vet Med and Biosciences will be held in LSC ballrooms, with the rest of them being in Moby like normal. Since Monday, me and others have had a survey that has been going around to students to gather their feedback and input, and just sort of understand their perspectives on the commencement changes, the equity associated with that, concerns for the venue, and transparency in this decision-making process. In just a few days, this went out on Monday for the most part, there's already been 81 responses, and nearly every college has had at least one student add and give their input. This input has also not just been from graduating seniors, but also we've seen every graduating class have some sort of feedback here. So it shows that this is not only something that seniors are concerned about, but also something that future generations of students are concerned about as well. And what a lot of this has shown is that these changes have not been understood by graduating students. 54% of students were not aware of these changes before the survey went out, and 64% of students surveyed also learned about this from word of mouth, not from CSU Communications. An additional 59% stated that CSU Communication was very unclear, and 22% said it was somewhat unclear. 80% of students also responded that they don't believe students across colleges are receiving equivalent commencement experiences, and when asked whether current commencement planning aligns with CSU's stated values of equity and student-centeredness, 75 out of 81 respondents were in the downward slope of that poll. And only one respondent indicated that those things aligned. That resulted in a net promoter score of -92, which reflects overwhelming student perceptions that this process does not align with their institutional values. In a similar question, 78 out of 81 students indicated that they felt CSU had not been transparent about the reasons behind these decisions, with a -95 net promoter score. While numbers are important, what's more important is the actual words that we heard from students. And I pulled a couple from the poll to share with you all today. So, quote, "It makes me feel like other colleges and majors are being respected more than my own, and that my degree and achievements are not as important." In terms of concerns, students said things like, quote, "My 80-year-old grandma would, all caps, never sit outside in the hot Colorado sun for 2 hours under a tent," and that there's, quote, "no details in case of weather changes." Also for tuition, we've heard, quote, "I spent $35,000 a year in tuition for 5 years to get to graduate in a tent by the rec center, and that we pay thousands of dollars to you guys. We deserve a proper graduation and proper communication." Relating to transparency, quote, "These commencement ceremonies make me feel like there's no student opinion in these decisions, and that there's a lot of a lack of transparency." Also, the, quote, "lack of communication serves as an admission of guilt and laziness that is inappropriate of an academic institution." And one that really stuck out to me was, quote, "The most affected students were not even invited in the room." At the end of the day, we all go to the same university, pay the same tuition, but receive wildly different commencement experiences. The survey's only been out for a few days, and we've already received very telling responses. Right now, it's important that we stand up for our students and amplify their voices, while also making sure that future students receive experiences that adequately celebrate them for their achievements. I'm happy to go into greater detail with the results of the survey and encourage each of you to fill out the form, which I have papers for, and promote it in your classes and ensure that students are elevated. Regardless of logistical constraints, perception matters. And when students are overwhelmingly feel that equity and student-centeredness are not reflected in this decision, it signifies that there has been a breakdown in the process, communication, and what values CSU is prioritizing.
Does anyone else wish to speak during gallery at this time?
Hi everyone, I just wanted to address some of the things that were said last week, and I did, just to be transparent, I did go ahead and watch the YouTube live, or the recording. I do want to apologize, but I did not ever mean to spread any harm, and I do think that a lot of the things that were said about me were incorrect and do not reflect my ability to be a leader and ultimately what actually happened. But I do want to apologize, I made mistakes, but like ultimately a lot of the things were incorrect and I have evidence, I have emails, I have screenshots and messages, and like I'm more than happy to like share those, and my door is always open, even though I don't live in a physical office, but I'm always around, and I'm part-time student this semester, so I'm more around this semester. Yeah, let me know. Thank you.
Does anyone else from the gallery wish to speak at this time? Seeing none.
Turn this off. Appreciate it.
Cool, yeah, we'll now be moving into our guest speaker, which is our lovely judicial branch with their bylaws.
Hi everyone, this is the second time I'm presenting these bylaws. We did make a few changes since last semester. The biggest one is that the Constitution calls for all three branches to have bylaws, and we had Supreme Court bylaws, so the name has changed to Judicial Branch bylaws to better reflect that. And also we've added in, we didn't really have a branch before, but now that we have election officials such as the manager and election engagement officer, we have a larger branch, so I made sure to include them in the first line, that they are also operating under judicial. And then if you go to members, yes. So this part has been changed, so bylaws are voted internally and then presented to Senate, so you guys don't vote on our bylaws. And so we have already voted this change, and then I'll re-present this next week in judicial reports. But the big change is right after elections members of the elections committee, that has been deleted. Members of the elections committee are not a part of judicial branch. That's so that way they can be a part of different branches. As our constitution is pretty clear, you cannot be a member of both branches or more than one branch. And so that's going to be deleted to reflect that it is a specials committee and that you can be a member of any branch and join that. And then office hours just includes the elections manager now. And then if you go down to, yes, right here on weekly reporting. And so, oh, I think it's back up. Down a little bit. Yes, okay, right here. So I changed executive and legislative reporting to be a bit more vague, just in case cabinet or legislative kind of changes what they did, as cabinet did this semester. So any chief justice that comes in this role does not have to keep editing that section. It can just be that it needs to be consistent reporting in both spaces. And so, yeah, that is my last kind of change, and it was just making sure that we include all judicial members in these bylaws. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. With that, we'll now be moving into executive reports. So if everyone's permitting. Oh, no, that's not true. I read it wrong. We'll now be moving into Bill 5534, the El Centro Somos Family and Community Celebration Bill.
Bill 5534, El Centro Somos Family and Community Celebration. This bill proposes the allocation of $8,500 from the Senate discretionary budget to support El Centro's Somos Family and Community Celebration. This budget will be allocated to El Centro to cover the cost of securing the LSC ballroom, along with necessary equipment and production expenses for the Somos celebration.
Do the authors accept the edits? Awesome. With that, we'll now be moving into a period of discussion and debate on this legislation by first raised placard. Chair McLaughlin.
Point of personal privilege. Can you scroll down to the therefore clauses? Okay, cool. No discussion and debate. I'll move to previous question.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move into a period of voting on this legislation. Initially, for final passage of legislation, it'd be roll call, I would entertain a motion for a different means of voting. Chairman Monty,
Motion to approve this with unanimous consent?
is there any dissent to the passage of this legislation? Hearing none, it passes. We'll now be moving into executive reports, if our friends from exec want to join us at the front. Senator Eddington.
Can I make a motion to add the election of the recruitment or retention officer to confidence business? I've been told this is not against rules.
Yes, just for clarification, by a 2/3 vote of the Senate, we can add anything to the agenda at any point or take it off. But with that, is there any dissent to Senator Eddington's motion? Hearing none, that'll also be reflected.
Or do you want it? Or just anyone?
Hello, I was here last week, but I'm Director of Traditions. My name is Grace. A couple quick updates for you all. First, my intern Arsema is hosting an event in collaboration with BAC. It'll be February 26th from 6 to 7 p.m. It's called S'mores and Stories, so as the title implies, there will be s'mores, and also the director of BAC will be sharing traditional African stories, so that'll be super fun. I highly encourage you all to go. Additionally, we have dates now for Feast of the Food Trucks, which will be April 30th from April 22nd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then Eyeball, or Inauguration Ball, will be April 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. As I mentioned last week, so please get those filled out. Those close February 28th at midnight. And, oh, I posted this in the Teams the other day, but if you are a graduating senior, regalia, if you want to order your regalia through the Alumni Center, that is due February 27th. So that is coming right up. So I recommend, if you want to do that, go check it out. If you have any, I'm so sorry. If you have any commencement questions, I sit on the committee, so I'm happy to talk about those. I don't know who spoke in gallery about commencement. Yes, I would be more than happy to take that to the committee and bring it up. I think that there's not much change we can do this year, but I'd be happy to see if there's anything we can do moving forward. I think you make a lot of really good points, so thank you for bringing it up. And unless there's any questions, that's all I have.
So first, I'm going to give a report on behalf of Jelicity. She has Day at the Capitol, which will be held on March 34th. She has more info TBD. LSAB is looking for a new at-large member. Application will be sent out via Teams when posted. Please run for an LSAB seat. It's happening tonight. Legislative branch has 3 seats, and I highly recommend taking advantage of this. Is it not happening tonight? Okay, sorry, I thought I heard something, my bad. LSAB meets at 6 to 7 p.m. on Thursdays. This week we'll be discussing 3 bills and follow-ups from bills last week. She plans on updating the website to make it more accessible. And please reach out to her via Teams with any questions. And then I just wanted to show you all the public initiative tracker. The executive impact is under executive branch. It says the executive impact. I sent a Teams message on it, but we just published this website, and it has all of the monthly reports and different projects if you want to pick any of them. They're all pretty much the same format. There's a vision statement for that specific department, some of their key projects, all of their monthly reports, which I usually send out in the newsletter, but now they'll be accessible there. And so please interact with that, look at the projects, let me know if there's any mistakes, if any of the links are broken. And if there's any ideas how to expand this or work on this or make it better, please let me know. And that's all I got.
Well, good evening. There's a few things that I'm coming to share. I'm coming to share first that Campus Leader Series planning has commenced and is full effect underway. We have 2/3 of them. We have 2 out of the 3 members here. So shout out Director Lisi and Director Bennett for working and serving on the Campus Leaders Planning Committee. We have 3 different part series installment event that's happening with this, and so I'm really excited to kind of lay some of those things out as it comes. I'll let folks reserve the rights to announce their individual contributors, their parts. So that's super exciting. My big update is that the Board of Governors has selected a sole finalist for the new chancellor for CSU. His name is Rico Munn. If you do not know who Rico is or were not present at the State of the Association last year, Rico Munn was actually our speaker to kick off the State of the Association last year, and he has an extensive background in education, not only higher ed, but K through 12, former serving as the superintendent of Aurora Public Schools, and then a bunch of various roles around Colorado before that. And so I think this pick is super interesting and exciting. If you have any questions maybe about what's happening at board meetings or what's happening in general with the selection process, I'd love to talk about it. The other thing is that we have a really, the second thing about the Board of Governors is that when Wellness Wonderland happened last week, I was at the Board of Governors, and so I got to share that that event was happening and that there was going to be emotional support alpacas on campus, and the joy and like the faces in that room was electric. Everybody was super duper excited about it, and we were all kind of sad that we were missing it and talking about some pretty serious stuff instead of being with alpacas, so that was kind of nice. The last thing I'll share is that we have a really exciting ratification happening tonight. It is for the Director of Environmental Affairs, and as you know, Kate Collins was amazing, but we have a new hire, Trina, who is going to be electric, and if you have not had the pleasure of interacting with Trina as the Deputy Director of Sustainability in the Environmental Affairs Department, please make sure that you make it a priority to do so in the role of Director of Environmental Affairs, because she's literally killing it and doing such great things, and so we're super excited to welcome Trina into this new capacity in ASCSU. But if you have time, please stop, talk to Trina, visit her office hours. She has really great insights and she's really cool. So the last thing I'll share is that there's also been somebody who has contributed greatly to ASCSU in the space of a senator, and then now currently serving as the executive assistant for Andrew White and and she will be departing her role. So if you happen to run into Shauna Buckner in the coming days, please give her your best wishes and part her with great wisdoms as she just sees the world as for what it is and spreads her wings and flies. Shauna has been a sole contributor to so many different projects, email threads, and just the energy in the office, and she's been a constant state of joy for so many in this space. So please feel free, if you have the extra time or see her tonight if she's around, feel free to just send her with some well wishes and some parting gifts. So thank you.
Coolio, thank you, Jakai. Does anyone else from exec wish to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into judicial reports.
Hi y'all, just a couple things from the elections team. Candidate applications close this Friday at noon, that's the 13th, noon o'clock. It's on the homepage of the ASCSU website. It's up in big text. Check that out if you are thinking about running. If you declare after that point you'd be running as a write-in candidate. We also just wanted to start plugging that there is going to be a lot of need for volunteers, especially the week leading up to the election, so Thursday through the Wednesday that we announce results. We've done the math and we need about 100 slots filled to help us run about 3 events a day that time. So this is kind of where rubber meets the road on getting that turnout that we have worked so hard to get. And I would appreciate each and every one of you helping us get the word out. If you want to be an inside person, we have opportunities inside. If you want to be yelling at people on the plaza, we have that opportunity too. So please join us and help. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm back up again. My name is Melanie and I am the Chief Justice for the Supreme Court. Some of the big things going on with judicial is that we're partnering with party registration with Off Campus Life to really push off like registering your parties. And if you guys don't know, you guys can register your parties with Off Campus Life. This is for anyone in Fort Collins, not just students. It does not hurt your parties in any way. The officers do not have a list of what parties are happening or addresses, only the call center does. So if someone calls in saying a noise complaint, then they can call you and give you a 20-minute warning. And oftentimes, I think it's like 85% of parties have no problems. And so it's actually a really big thing to have. And so we're gonna try to be pushing out marketing with them and pairing up with them to get their word out. And then me, Reese, and Victoria are working on the Open Educational Resource Resolution. That's going to be coming out here in a few weeks. and we're partnering with the provost office. So Medora, the chair, will come present in March, and then we will be asking and sending it around for sponsorships and endorsements for that one. And just to kind of reiterate with Emily, elections is definitely all hands on deck. We want to be a representative body who actually has more than 4% of people voting for us. And so if we want to represent the students, then we need their votes. And so when we're pushing out marketing and events, we want you guys to go and repost and be there. And then if you guys want to run as senators and don't really know what that looks like or anything, just a reminder, all Senate positions are 1-year terms. And so Emily would be more than happy to sit down with you guys and walk through that. Not all senator positions, the ones that are for business or for colleges. That does not include resource centers or to clear that up. But yeah, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. That will now be moving into legislative reports, starting with officer reports. To touch on a couple of things that are going on with me at the moment. Some of you have gotten onboarding emails. Onboarding's happening, phenomenal. So onboarding meetings are happening as well as check-ins. Additionally, there's a piece of legislation that'll hit the floor next week codifying our onboarding processes to make sure that it's uniform across all senators and associates. Additionally, Senator Eddington and I are working on some legislation to further define the rights held in Senate. So like motioning rights, floor rights, all that stuff. So if you want to take a look at the bylaws and see if we're wrong about anything, feel free. Additionally, Chair Gilroy and I are working on putting together a training day for our new senator-elects after they get elected to kind of do a group mock Senate onboarding conglomeration on a Saturday so that they feel more pretended than they would otherwise that we saw last year. Other than that, strikes and attendance are gonna be strict. Go do your things or communicate, you won't. But that's all I have. Do you have any?
Hello, everybody. I have not received anything yet in the parliamentarian suggestion box. I guess I'm just doing that today. But I will be posting again. I'm thinking hereafter I'll post that as a bit of a reminder. Please do come to me if you need anything, and especially if you need suggestions. Additionally, in keeping with this newer culture of accountability, it has also come to my attention that Bill 5521 was not sent out in a reasonable manner. It was right before break, and I'm sure I could blame a whole litany of things, but I was in the end the cog responsible to do it. That has been corrected. I, though, of course, understand if people have any concerns regarding that. I am always open, and again, my deepest apologies to this body. Thank you.
Hello all. First, I'll be making Diane's report today because she has a scholarship thing that she's going to. For her position, she's reached out to C4E about outreach opportunities and is also talking to CKI today, which if y'all don't know, those are really big scholarship programs that are really offered across all majors and all years. And they even go beyond CSU, so that's what she's doing. On my note, this is my first report as a speaker pro tempore. I don't know why it left my mind. But yeah, I just want to say thank you all for putting me in this position, and I hope that you can trust me to get the job done. And a big part of my thing and what I ran on was accountability. And I will say it is extremely lacking with our committee attendance and Senate attendance. If you aren't planning to come to Senate, you need to communicate that. It literally it could be the lamest excuse you could think of. We don't care about your excuse. We care about you communicating. If you just don't show up, then your associate senators can't come and vote in your place. And it's, yeah. And then even worse are our committee attendance. We have around, I think it's, I don't know what the new numbers are, but last time I counted, there was around 56, 58 people in Senate. I want y'all to take a guess about how many people don't attend committee on a regular. It's around 26 people. So, and we all are familiar with our things. You need to be going to a committee once a week. That's 1 hour, and committees are on different times. And if you can't make it, then send thoughts on legislation to the chair or me or the speaker. Or if you want, just CC us all in on one email. It's that easy. But yeah, I plan as Speaker Pro Tempore to be really hard on strikes. And if that causes, sorry, but it's part of my job. Like, and it's a part of y'all's job too. Like, quite frankly, you should really be showing up. And honestly, really to committees, because they don't even usually go for the full hour. Like, it's what, 20 minutes of your time that you're gonna go see people. Like, it's not the end of the world. The amount of lacking attendance that we have is insane. Like, I thought it was bad, and then I actually looked at it. It's terrible. It's terrible. We need to, me trying to strengthen Senate really does start on the inside, starts with us, and that means that we all need to be doing our jobs. So yeah, I already sent strikes out for last week's Senate attendance. Committee strikes will be going out today by the end of the night, and I know I'm friends with a lot of you in this room, but please do your job. That's all I have to say. But yeah, and then next week I should be coming with a presentation about what my plans are for the second semester in terms of this new position. I am also working on legislation to reform our current office hours policy. I have sent it to a few of you in this room. I really do want collaboration on this because, again, I don't think it's fair to really write something that I'm implementing on y'all without any of y'all's feedback. So I will be sending that around, and I will make sure that's accessible to you. And yeah, I would really love everyone's comments and collaboration on that because, again, this is something that would affect your job description. But yeah, hashtag go to Senate. And if you don't, you should communicate that and communicate it to your associate senators if that's applicable. And please go to committee hours because y'all are about to be getting so many strikes. Thank you.
Just as some clarification on our processes for excusals, for Senate, literally email, text, call, anything, Farron or I, we can make sure that your excusals documented in all of our stuff. For committees, you just want to send a piece of commentary on a piece of legislation sent to that committee to that chair and Farron. But with that, we'll now be moving into committee and caucus reports by Vice Chair Blackard. Chair Monty.
Hello, y'all. Yeah, y'all should come to students of the Oval Caucus. Surprise, next week we'll be meeting twice. Once at our regular time from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Monday, and then another at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Wednesday. And I know y'all are at least somewhat here on campus, because you're coming to here. So yeah, no, come. I would love to have any one of you potentially also fill in any one of my roles as an officer of that caucus, because I need officers. Please give me officers. Someone should run the social media. With that being said, I yield.
Thank you, Chair. Are there any other committee or caucus reports at this time? Chair Casadas today.
Hello guys, I hope you're having a great night. So I wanted to share that DEI did update their bylaws. We already had really good foundational bylaws. I just wanted to edit them to make sure that everything was very concise and also touched on every single thing. And then we are looking for a social media officer. So if you like social media and you like making posts on Canva and all that jazz, please run. We currently don't have anyone, and I would really like someone. And then secondly, we are going to be having a committee this Friday, and it's going to be 4 to 5 this time, just because there is bingo on Friday from 5 to 6, and I want to go to it. I'm not gonna lie. Also, if you guys want to go to that bingo with me, let me know. But 4 to 5, it usually is 5 to 6. I know it's a little bit late, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So I hope to see all of your lovely faces, and thank you so much. I yield.
Thank you. Amika, were you speaking for a committee or caucus?
I'm presenting on behalf of Sarah.
Perfect, good.
This is for internal affairs. We looked over resolution 5524 and discharged that. we looked at the Lex 5526, discharged that with some edits. I think that's going to be over. And then Bill 5529 was held and there were no edits made, but we were held due to wanting clarity on whether this is a possibility based on capabilities, acknowledged confines of BrandWeb. And I yield.
Thank you. Chair McLaughlin.
Give me like 1 second. I'm trying to report on our balance, but I forgot that bill just passed. Okay, assuming that our lovely President Nunley signs the SOMOS bill, this current balance of the Senate discretionary fund will be $39,334.34. So that is how much money we have left. Also, we held Bill 5529 for the exact same reasons as the Internal Affairs Committee. Hayden, wherever you are, if you would like more information, just let me know. I love the bill. Our committee loved the bill. We just had concerns raised by the Chief Justice about RAMWeb. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Chair McLaughlin. Do other Senator Mendoza?
Hi everybody, I'm the Vice Chair for University Affairs. We will be meeting next week on Monday from 12 to 1, so if you can, please come by and make it. We'll be talking about graduation and other things, so please stop by. Yeah, thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Do any other committees or caucuses wish to report at this time? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into Senator and Associate Senator reports by first raised placard. Chairman Monty.
Hi y'all. Happy Black History Month. The back office will be holding a real talk this Tuesday. I would highly recommend y'all go. It'll be in the back office, as well as at Ramshorn next Wednesday. They will be holding a dining hall meal event, so you'll be getting good food. I've been there a few times, so if you want collard greens, catfish, cornbread, good mac and cheese, I highly recommend sneaking yourself over there, stealing yourself a plate, and then rushing back here. And if you see me with multiple plates, no you didn't. And yeah, the 20th as well, we will be having a grad student event in the Ramskeller attending the Roots. It'll have faculty, staff, grad students, and it'll just be like talking to, older Black folks about their experience, their history here at CSU and all that. And yeah, I yield, and again, happy Black History Month.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Singleton, I accidentally wrote down Eddington.
All right, I'm just letting you all know that I'm currently working on a piece of legislation. It should be ready within a week or two, and it is going to be to allocate somewhere around maybe $5,000 to $10,000. I'm still figuring that out with Michael Buttram. We're going to be working on making a Rhymes Against Hungry pantry in the University of the Arts, just because there isn't really anything over there, and a lot of people are complaining about being really hungry over there. So yeah, let me know if you want to be a co-writer for that, or I'll be sending it out in a bit, and let me know if you want to be an endorser or sponsor. Right. I yield.
Thank you. Chair McLaughlin.
First off, a big congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks for winning the Super Bowl. It's a very exciting day for me. Also, someone brought up in legislative cabinet that they feel that this is a space where people are afraid of expressing their dissent or disagreement with opinions being expressed on the floor. I want to make sure everyone feels comfortable disagreeing. This is a space for deliberation. Just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean that you need to not like them as a person. This is not a space where anyone should be afraid to express their opinion. I mean, within reason, but the whole point of the Senate is that we debate legislation, we look at all sides, everyone gets to express their opinion to make sure that we're considering things. I frequently disagree with both Hayden Taylor and Ja'Kai Nunley, but they're two of my favorite people in ASCSU, partially for that reason. So I would encourage everyone to not be afraid to express your opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hernandez.
Hi everyone, Senator Simpson and I are working on a piece of legislation. We're hoping to get it done within the next week, but we're just trying to get some funding for the Lavner Cabinet in Pride for this semester. Wait one sec. We're asking for $7,000 just so everybody knows like ahead of time. But yeah, we'll get that sent out for endorsements and sponsorships as soon as we get that done. Thank you, I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other senators or associates that wish to give a report at this time? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and enter confidence business, starting with the swearing in of the public relations intern.
I state your name.
I, Noah Kaufman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congrats.
Awesome. We'll now be moving into the ratification of the Director of Environmental Affairs. Okay, you'll have 10 minutes to present, then we'll have 10 minutes of Q&A, and then 10 minutes of discussion debate.
Hi everyone, my name is Trina McDowell. I first started out in ASCSU as the Deputy Director of Sustainability, and I've applied for to be the Director of Environmental Affairs. I'm a second-year junior. I'm studying ecosystem science and sustainability. Our main programs and initiatives that we're working on right now is the Graduation Gown Lending Library, as well as our Generation Conscious project with zero waste laundry detergent sheets. Yeah.
Sorry guys, just like Jakai said, Trina's a really wonderful, wonderful colleague, sorry. And so I do want to say a little bit about her and what it's like working with her and having her go through this process these past couple of weeks. I want to say that Trina has been a tough soldier throughout this whole process. She's been so patient and respectful of the process of fulfilling both Director and Deputy Director of Environmental Affairs since Kate Collins, our previous director, graduated in the fall. I've not only seen Trina work with Kate and learned so much from her, but also saw her step up after coming back from winter break and continue to push forward as I was in search of the director and deputy for the department. It's people like you that makes it really easy to work in ASCSU, and I'm super excited that you applied for director, you got it, and I'm super excited for everything that you're going to accomplish as director. So thank you, congratulations.
Cool. With that, we'll now be moving into a period of Q&A by First Race Walker. Senator Singleton.
All right. First question, or my question is, how was the candidate chosen, or like what rubric was used for the hiring process?
Yeah, so I used a rubric where I rated everybody's interview answers from 1 to 5, 1 being, not so good to 5 being above reason or adequately answered. Sorry. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. So that's why I use the rubric to. Sorry. Last train of thought. To score everybody.
Cool. I yield.
Thank you, Chair McLaughlin.
For the candidate, can you give us a little more information on how you plan to achieve the goals of the main initiatives of the Department of Environmental Affairs, specifically the Generation Consciousness Project and the Graduation Gown Lending Library?
I plan to achieve our goals. Well, to start out, the Graduation Gown Lending Library has already been really successful. We've had over 100 applications for regalia, and our first handout session was last week, and we were able to provide 20 students during that first pickup session with regalia for their commencement. And with the mentorship of Kate Collins, she has prepared me to take on this role super well, and we've also use the opportunities such as applying for the reallocation funding to ensure that our program has adequate money to be able to continue providing resources to more students. And as far as Generation Conscious, I believe I could say we're still in the procurement process, and once that goes through, it'll be in one of the residence halls on campus, and this will provide laundry detergent at no cost, and it's also zero waste. It's in the form of sheets, and we're working on continuously making sure that we're doing outreach, such as tabling events, so that way students are aware of this initiative as well.
Great, excellent, thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Senator Vega.
Hello, can you tell us a little more about if you can, the amount of applicants you had and why you chose this applicant specifically?
So in total, we had about 17 applicants. We had 10 apply for deputy director and 7 apply for the director position. And we chose Trina not only because she's literally been working so hard during fall semester and spring semester as we come back to fulfill this job. We knew that ACSU does not promote, so we knew we had to go through the proper formalities of her applying for director and going through the interview process. Trina is extremely talented, and she cares a lot about the department. And I saw something in her that I necessarily didn't respectfully see in a lot of the other candidates. So that's why we chose her.
Awesome, thank you, Aya.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for this candidate at this time? Chair Casada-Stoner.
I was just wondering if there's any new initiatives that you're thinking of doing, or are you going to focus on kind of like what you've already talked about?
So as of right now, we're limited by the amount of funding that our department is given, and in the future, when we get more funding or are able to apply for more, some projects that we are wanting to focus on are focusing on how sustainability and basic needs go hand in hand oftentimes. So right now we have refillable cast steel soap in the Rams Against Hunger pantry. So I'd really like to incorporate more basic needs items that also contribute to sustainability. Maybe something such as a clothing drive. I think doing more initiatives that focus on basic needs would be really impactful to the CSU community.
Thank you so much, I yield.
Thank you. Senator Leary.
I might have missed this, but what are your plans to follow up on the resolution that we passed last semester? And obviously we know each other, so no pressure.
And just double check, the resolution you're referring to is the plastic bottles. Yes. So that was written by the former director, Kate Collins. So I would need to refer to her notes on that. that legislation. And at the beginning of the semester, I was reached out to by the student that was working on that, doing research on that. So I would like to maybe contact him more and maybe work on ways that we could bring that to more attention.
I yield.
Awesome. Are there any other questions for this candidate? Seeing none, if you could go ahead and take a step outside. Just as a reminder, when we're ratifying candidates from other branches, we're more so checking on the process of them being put into the position from the other branch rather than ratifying them ourselves. Those questions were a little bit on the line, just as a general reminder. But with that, we'll now be moving into a period of discussion debate by Vice President Lockard. Senator Singleton.
They seem great, seem like they know a lot what they're doing. If no one else is on the speaker's list, I motion to previous question.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move into a period of voting. We'll go ahead and use unanimous consent. Is there any dissent to the ratification of this candidate? Hearing none, they're ratified. We'll clap in 1 second.
I state your name.
I, Trina McDowell,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
the
duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Awesome. With that, we'll now be moving into the Accessibility Caucus Chair vote. This was an item that we entered last week. So we'll be holding the vote on the previous item, or Hannah, I'm scared. Is it, do we restart it?
I believe so. I believe that with this being a new item on the agenda and a new Senate session, I believe we would do that again, take nominations, do Q&A, that kind of thing.
Cool, yeah. With that, do I hear any nominations for this position? Senator Bone.
I nominate Leary for this position.
Leary, do you accept this nomination? I accept. Awesome. Are there any other nominations for this position? Seeing none, Leary, if you want to come and present.
Okay, honestly, I did not think that I would have another speech period or whatever we call it. So I didn't really prepare anything, but sorry, I don't know why I breathe into the mic. I guess I'll just go ahead and like say that I do collaborate. Like I've collaborated with Victoria to meet with Brandon Hanlon, the Vice President for University Operations. I've collaborated with Senator Bone, and like I've collaborated with Michael Buttram on installing the food pantry buttons, and I had to get permission from Blanche Hughes, and we had that conversation. And sorry, I haven't started posting this already, but like the mayor interviewed me for the Disability Advisory Board and recommended me, and like I have connections with the city and people that I know there, and I've worked with many of the Disability Advisory Board members at this point, and a constituent nominated me for an award for the Disability Advisory Board award ceremony that they hold every year or every other year, and I do know how to collaborate, and I will say that I tried to set boundaries last semester and that people did not respect those boundaries, and ultimately it was not productive to berate me with questions that I didn't even have answers to, because ultimately I don't work for facilities, I work here. I don't work for remodel and construction services. My supervisor, I consider my supervisor to be Justin Dove of the SDC and Brooke personally, and now Farron as well. I was never like in an assistant position for any people, and I was never their secretary, and we set up connections with people with facilities a year ago. It was the meeting with March 14th, 2025. I went back to these facilities people, Jessica Kramer and Dan Kozlowski, and I asked them, did these people ever reach out to you and ask these questions? You're the source, and they knew your emails. I know that like if they wanted to ask Justin Dove, like Justin Dove knows who Jessica Kramer is. I know that personally Jelicity has met with Jessica Kramer, like I know that for a fact. Ultimately, like it wasn't productive to ask me when I wasn't the source of information for this. Facilities was, they've always been, and that has been always clear. And like what I have worked with them last semester with my projects and funding physical accessibility on campus, and trying to get the complaint about the north entrance figured out, and figuring out like, oh, replacing a doorknob to a door handle costs $700 like for a standard door, because you have to switch out the keys and the master keys, and you have to switch out everyone's sets of keys, and then but in Clark the doorknob is connected to the door somehow, and they have to switch out the entire door, and that's $1,000. And that those things are expensive, and they add up when we're talking about like all the offices in Eddy needs to be updated from doorknobs to door handles, and pretty much all the classrooms and rooms in Clark, I've lost track, Clark C, that is still standing. And like ultimately those are expensive, and like it's not going to come out of ASCSU, but like we need to figure out how to pay for those things and how to move on and be proactive and responsive to our disabled community, and like asking those questions and having those conversations is how we move on and how we get this done. Yeah, I would like to really answer questions, and I know I didn't really get that chance last week, so I hope that you let me.
Cool, yeah, with that we'll now be moving into a period of Q&A by First Series Placard. Shout out Senator Sickled.
All right. I just want to start off with saying I'm sorry. I'm going to have to ask you like a difficult question. To me, I was trying to stay impartial and just hear everyone's opinion, but I think the biggest thing that came up was the lack, not necessarily with working with multiple people, but specific people that you had personal disagreements with. I know it's good to set boundaries, but when you are in a position, you also still have to stay impartial. But sorry, my question though is, do you believe holding this position, you will be able to communicate with people that you have personal disagreements with if they send you a professional email rather than like just something personal like via text?
Yeah, so I just want to clarify, like there wasn't really a disagreement. Ultimately, like last semester I was ignored, and my work and my time was being taken advantage of, and people were acting as if they were entitled to those things. And unfortunately, like ultimately waiting for people to give me feedback on the like quote request for the food pantry entrances, like I know that I'm not really like getting to your question yet, but just give me a second. But like it delayed the process, and students need that now, and not only students, our community needs that now. And like I do want to collaborate, but at the same time, like we all have like time commitments, and I don't want to like encroach on anyone. I don't want to force anyone, and I want to just like get stuff done. And if that means that like there aren't people that are willing to give time to that, that's fine, and I'm not mad at them. But I'm saying that like if you disrespect me and like take advantage of me, take claim of my stuff, then like, yeah, I'm going to set boundaries because that's not fair to me, and like, I still need to do my stuff. But yes, like, I can communicate those things. I just set boundaries that like, I need to be able to like, do my work and like take claim on it, and like, I do like send professional emails all the time, and like, and I want to collaborate, but like, again, like if people don't have the time, then like, I can't really like, I just can't wait for like a person to pop out of nowhere. And like, now we have an associate senator and she's taking a chem exam right now, and like we've talked today about like collaborations and doing stuff with the UCA, and like, I am ready to move forward and like just move forward and get things done, basically, if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any other questions for this candidate? Seeing none, if you want to go ahead and take a step outside. Okay, now moving into a period of discussion and debate by first raised placard. Gio, can you close the door?
Good job, Gio.
Good job, Gio. That was magic. That was wonderful. Senator Eddington.
Oh my God.
I did it to both of you, so it evened out. Okay.
Okay, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. I just want to say how we conduct ourselves in this space, on top of how we do our job, has to matter when we want to be leaders, and we want to be leaders of leaders. That has to matter. That's all I'm saying. I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any other points of discussion or debate? Chairman Monty.
I fear the general vibe will not change much, has not changed much, or maybe it has. I know I'm misreading it. Anyway, with that being said, motion to the previous question.
Second.
Hearing a second, is there any dissent to this motion? Make sure we say dissent, nice, big, and proud when we dissent. But yes, hearing dissent, we'll go ahead and. Do you have a motion? What are?
I was just gonna ask if, like, because I know I was on the speakers list. I would like to speak, and then I will motion to previous question if no one else would like to.
Are you just asking for Chairman Monty to amend his motion to exhaust the speakers list?
I can amend my motion to exhaust the speakers list.
Is there any dissent to that motion? Hearing none, the speakers list is now exhausted. Chairman Monty, did you yield?
I yield.
Awesome. Senator Bone.
Okay, I just wanted to say that last week, a lot of the things that I was saying was very vague because I genuinely did not have any information on the topic. Talking to people after that session about things that were discussed, it does genuinely seem like to me there was some confusion about intentions of individuals involved in a lot of these scenarios. I don't really want to go into specifics because that's not my business. It seems like a personal issue. And while I do understand what has been said about that impeding the work that we do here, I feel like it is something that can be discussed one-on-one and gotten over. From what I have heard, it seems like the proper conflict resolution was not reached with like the Resolution Center for whatever reason, but that is an avenue that I believe can be taken if an issue comes up later down the road. But I do really think Leary is the most qualified person for this position, and that kind of issue is something that can be addressed at a separate time in other ways. Thank you, I yield.
Thank you. With that, with no one else being on the speakers list, we'll now be moving into a period of voting. I would entertain a motion to vote no confidence, as well as suspend subsection B of Article 7, Section 6, subsection K. What this would do to clarify before you guys just kind of do what I said, is instead of either vote confidence or no confidence like we did last week, but instead of it being by supermajority, it would just be by simple majority due to how close the voting threshold was last week. With that, I would entertain that motion. Senator Singleton.
I entertain the motion to do what Brooke said.
There we go.
Sorry, my bad. I make the motion to do what Brooke said.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Do I hear any dissent? Hearing none, we'll go ahead with that. Did you have an additional motion?
Yes, I have a point of information. So if this position isn't filled today, it's just going to stay vacant.
Yes.
Someone filled it?
Yes, or the caucus is disbanded.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Senator Singleton.
I motion for a 5-minute recess during voting.
Is there any dissent? Hearing none. We're in a period of recess.
The secret
ballot. That's what subsection K thousands does.
Oh my gosh, you
I know what you want.
We have some new people in the room, just to clarify, if you're an associate, you can't vote. If you're a senator, you can vote. Pieces of paper are getting sent out. Don't put something weird on it. Confidence means that, yes, you want this person. No confidence means you don't want this person. Thanks, y'all.
I have a quick question. Would you be able to add my email to the emailing list for the onboarding? I have not yet received an onboarding email. I know I joined last semester.
Can we take a step this way?
I'm not gonna say. Oh, do you want to take them? I can. Thank you, Gio. You're promoted. Thank you, Gio. That's Hey, Simone. Hey, Sim, I have some. So this will actually be counted, right? The anxiety in the Isn't that what happened last time? You went abstained too much? No. I voted the same as last time.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hello.
Does everyone have a piece of paper? I think that is it.
No, because I gave it to you. I already gave it. Oh, I just did that by the owl. That's so embarrassing. Yeah, you gotta love this paper. I love having a capstone. Also, being in a capstone group where the decided head of the group is so fucking listen to us. I gave this man a problem. This man was like, no, let's talk out my ass instead. He's like, hold my shit, I'm allowed to do something. And he did something. Yeah, I would rather not. The funny pile. I love the pile. It's so great. I'm gonna violate the election. It's not a committee. It's not a committee. It's not a
No, you're totally fine.
Are you assigned where you're supposed to sit?
Benefits are unassigned.
These guys are all
say, like, we need to. Yeah, I found it on the desk.
Sheila, can you contact both of me?
He's not here. No.
I just literally
Batman against Yeah, so you guys like 3 minutes of me scolding the city council.
This is the thing that we all like are disagreeing about. I am very glad that we are getting a little of I am happy about that.
Hey, how's it going?
No.
Sometimes when you're it's just
Are you looking for like some literally, like, I can see 5 other spots. Oh, that's true.
Good for you, sir.
11, or 16 to 11.
Yeah, we've been up for a little bit. Oh, and maybe
Were there any other votes on Zoom or no? Did Mary vote?
oh, good point. Shoot.
Are there any other votes? Okay.
So we have a vote of 18, 12 to 2. He has confidence files.
Yes.
Okay, with a vote of 18, or never mind, I never said the numbers. I'm not supposed to say the numbers for 4 weeks, and I totally knew that. But this candidate did pass. So if we want to bring them in so they can be sworn in. I state your name.
I, Lydia Sananes,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
the
duties of my office
to
the best of my ability.
the best of my ability.
Congrats. Awesome. With that, we'll now be moving into the election of the ASCSU Housing Caucus Chair. Are there any nominations for this position? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move into the next item, the election of a Senate LSAT member. Are there any nominations for this position? Awesome. We'll now be moving into the next item, the election of the Recruitment and Retention Officer. Are there any nominations for this position? Senator Singleton.
We co-nominate Senator Eddington.
Senator Eddington, do you accept this co-nomination?
Yes.
Awesome. Are there any other nominations for this position? Seeing none, Senator Eddington, if you want to join us at the front.
Go recruitment.
And retention.
You'll have 10 minutes to present.
Okay, sorry, I wrote a little thing. I get really nervous public speaking. I accidentally closed the tab, so bear with me.
Oh God.
Okay, good evening, Senators. As you know, my name is Noah Eddington. I'm the current Senator for the Adult Learners and Veteran Services, and I stand before you today running for the Recruitment and Retention Officer of the Legislative Branch, which you also know. I'll begin by giving a brief overview of my history, and then I'll explain how I plan to apply that history to work in the R&R position. So to start, in 2015, after graduating high school, a long time ago I know, I enlisted in the United States Air Force, where for the next 8 years, I served as a language analyst, translating both Pashto and Chinese to serve my different missions throughout my service. Now, the military is an extremely collaborative environment. Throughout my enlistment, I served on teams of up to 50 people, where I was expected to know and work with all the individuals on the team, regardless of personal differences or conflicts that may have arisen. I believe this has set me up to work in an environment like ASCSU, where we all have different perspectives, but still have a need to collaborate. I feel as though I thrive in these environments because I can remain professional, but also I'm extremely chatty and welcoming. I enjoy social environments where I can work with other people, collaborate, share, and see different perspectives. For that reason, I think I thrive in the recruitment and retention position. Additionally, this is an organization I feel very passionate about. I think we have an amazing opportunity to do good, fulfilling work here in ASCSU, and I'd love to see the organization grow. So with this in mind, I believe that not only do I have the skills to fulfill this role, but also the drive and desire to do so. Over the past few weeks in preparation for this election, I've had meetings with our advisors, Julia and Elisa, as well as our former Recruitment and Retention Officer, Farron, and Speaker Reese. Which I just say to show how I have been working towards fully understanding this role and all aspects of it so I could be prepared for today and the potential of earning this position. Not only in these meetings did I discuss the role itself and how to fulfill it, but also discussed initiatives that Farron was working towards during her time in this position, and I'm ready, willing, and able to pick up the torch and keep running with it. Some of those plans include mentorship initiatives to improve and expand upon cross-branch collaboration. Another is to help boost representations from some of the colleges that have low representation in this space by creating tailored recruitment events for those colleges or groups. And a final one that we discussed was possibly doing more retention events, which could look like working with organizational wellness as they planned a retention event. Shout out! They planned a retention event last semester, but for a lot of this, I'm still not positive how it would look, and I'm still ruminating on a lot of things, so not all the answers are going to be perfect yet, but I do hope to work towards perfection in this role. So with all that in mind, I hope I can earn your support and trust to sit in this position. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll now be entering our period of Q&A. My first chair is Blackbird, Chair Monty.
Hello, hello. So first question, low-key, just a combination of my standard 3 questions. How, as you mentioned, you worked in the military before and you had to work with multiple people of multiple different backgrounds. So just to expand upon basically that a little bit, like how have you dealt with situations where you've had to deal with your own internal biases and or the biases of those around you?
I'm actually not going to reference my military history to respond to that. I'm going to reference the elections committee, which I'm on right now. So sorry, I'm kind of diverting the question, but through the elections committee, we work on a lot of like bias training, and I think that has been a more reflective experience for me than the military was, because in the military, like, I was allowed to be biased. It was never about being unbiased. It was just about being professional. It was just about getting the mission done. But here I am serving in a role where it is about being unbiased. And I think I've been working a lot with Pam Norris. I've been setting up meetings with her so that we can have conversations about what does being unbiased look like when you still have to uphold all the rules. And so I think that's something that I'm like, a challenge that I'm eager for and looking forward to. And I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Senator Singleton.
All right. My question is, you touched on the fact that you want to continue some of the projects that Farron was working on. Could you elaborate on some of those projects and any new projects that you have in mind?
Yeah, I actually gave examples, but I'll look at them again. So
my bad.
No, it's fine. One of the projects was like a mentorship opportunity, which would be like maybe a day in the life where we could work with other branch representatives to see what they do and improve like respect and collaboration, so we could really understand like what are our colleagues doing when we're not looking at them, like what is their job fully, which I think would really encourage cross-branch collaboration and create a much more respectful, positive environment where we understand each other better. Another one was boosting representation. I don't know exactly what this would look like yet, but I know in the bylaws or in the job description, it mentions like going to club meetings and stuff as part of this role to try to recruit. And so I think that's like where I would hit the ground, is going to some of the RSO meetings where they do kind of represent colleges. Like the sales club would obviously represent like maybe a big number of business college people who we don't see a huge amount of in this space. So going to events like that to see like who is interested, what would make them interested, what would help draw people into this space. And then the third one was like retention event focused, which could be like putting on events like Organizational Wellness did last semester, where we did like a fun game night. And not we like I put it on, but we like I was participating. And then really the only initiative I had so far, it's not super exciting, but I'm old school. So I was wondering why we didn't have more flyers. I was wondering why there aren't flyers all over that say ASCSU on them. Say join ASCSU really, was my question. But that would be more of a shared partnership thing with Diana and Farron, because they had also been looking into the same thing. But I brought that up during one of our meetings because that was like the first thing that came to my mind, was just like we should be like in a gentle way, kind of in people's faces, to be like, we are here, like we represent you, like, and this is why you should care. So I think that's stuff I've had in mind.
Cool. And then another question is, so you're talking about some of the colleges that we don't have as much representation, like business. I know that we also have difficulties filling engineering chairs, just due to the fact that engineering as a major itself is very, very workload heavy. Do you have, or are you thinking of any ideas of getting more involvement from the engineering school to try and join ASCSU? And yeah.
Absolutely. The business school was just an example, but I do have intent to like look into the clubs, like maybe spending more time in the, what do they call it, the I2P lab in engineering, like maybe spending more time there to see like what do constituents of this college think of ASCSU, what would they want to see, could we create a community here where they could thrive as well, even though they have a really heavy workload. Does that answer the question?
It does, thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Bone.
Hi, I feel like you did kind of touch on this, but I just, as someone who is fairly new to this space, I was hoping you could give, from your perspective, like a basic job description of what the roles and responsibility of the recruitment and retention officer like actually are.
So for recruitment, it's a lot about outward engagement, like meeting people where they're at and not just trying to bring them into the space, but finding them outside in the great big world and being like, here's why you should join and here's why you should be interested in ASCSU, because we do a lot of good work that affects you. And then retention, I think that aspect more looks like maybe if senators are slipping on some of their responsibilities, I don't know how to say that gently, there would be meetings then with the recruitment and retention officer to be like, how can we help and how can we work with you to make sure that you're thriving in this space? And then there's also like a feedback portion of it where if a senator leaves, it would be like, well, can we talk about why that is? Can we talk about how we could improve the space so people do and are encouraged to stay? Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. My other thing I wanted to ask, and this is kind of feeding off of what you said about retention, I don't know if this is something that would be your job, but would you consider like meeting as the retention officer with new senators to give them a more comprehensive understanding of everything that is involved with ASCSU so that they feel comfortable navigating their role to their fullest potential?
Yeah, I mean, Speaker Reese mentioned earlier that her and Chair Gilroy are working on legislation about that, and if they needed help, I would be more than willing to work with them on that. So if those opportunities are there, I would take them, absolutely.
As a brief point of information, I made a lot of eye contact with people I think who assumed I would make a point of information. What Graham Kelly, the recruitment and retention officer, and I did last year when I was in the Speaker Pro Tem role was we had a system of with new prospective members, the recruitment and retention officer would meet with them, give them like the basics, what you need to know coming in the door, and then the Speaker Pro Tempore did the more extensive onboarding, which is what's happening now. But that's definitely something that's existed before in relation to the recruitment and retention officer.
Okay, I think that's it. I yield.
Senator Hernandez.
I yield to redundancy.
Fair. Are there any other questions for this candidate? Seeing none, if you want to go ahead and take a step outside. We'll now be entering a period of discussion debate by first year's placard. Senator Singleton.
I think Noah seems like they'll do a great job in this position. I have nothing against them, and they seem like they'll do a great job. So if no one else is on the speaker's list, I give motion to previous question. Yeah, got it.
Is there a second? Is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move into a period of voting. Initially, it'd be, I believe, by secret ballot. I would enter Chair Monty.
I motion to do this via voice vote.
Is there any dissent to that means of voting? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote via voice vote. All those in favor of the ratification of this candidate, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
I'm on the gavel. I believe the ayes have it, so this candidate is ratified.
I state your name,
I, Noah Eddington,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
and will rightfully perform
the duties of my
the
office
duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I move to proceed out of order with Bill 5533.
Is there a second?
Second.
Hearing a second, is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll now be moving into Bill 5533, the funding of the safety equipment for student education garden. As I believe it to be, there isn't an author in attendance, but as the bylaws outline, the chair, me, can declare exigent circumstances where we don't need an author. The author's graduated, so that's what we're going to go ahead with. So the edits are accepted, and we'll now be entering a period of discussion debate by first raised placard. Senator Singleton.
All right, so just with what was said with the budget, I know that we still have money left, but there are going to be other bills being put in place. I do wonder, since this is essential safety upgrades and equipment for the student education garden, I feel like instead of directly just paying the money, we could potentially ask CSU to see if they are at all able to fund these things, just because these are basic safety repairs, and since we are a part of CSU, I feel like we should be asking them. I wanted to be known, though, that I have nothing against this. It seems like it'd be great, but I will most likely be voting against it unless like information like we have reached out and this is the amount applicable can be reached out. But I think it'd be a good idea to see if we can reduce this amount of money required at all beforehand. I yield.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak on this legislation? Chair Casada Stoner.
I'll be really quick, but I agree with Senator Singleton. I think that if this was maybe a little bit asking for less money or could be reduced in any sort of way, then I would be a lot more likely to vote for it. But with the amount of budget that we have right now, I will also be voting no. I yield.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak on this legislation? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and enter a period. Oh, my bad.
Sorry.
Chair McLaughlin.
I guess, would it be prudent for us to instead table this legislation? Can we return it to committee?
We cannot return it to the same committee, but we can send it to a committee it hasn't been to.
Okay. I'll just make a motion to table this for this week so that I will reach out to the person, the contact. I'll yield to Victoria.
I was just gonna say, I do not think this was seen in DEI at all. So if you wanna send it over to DEI, we can look it over and hold it.
I think it'd be easier to table. The only time I've seen something get more than its prescribed amount of readings, it was kind of awful. So, you made the motion, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Is there a second to Jared's motion?
Second.
Is there any dissent to Jared's motion? Hearing none, this piece of legislation is now tabled. We'll now be moving into Resolution 5524, the addition of campus community reports to the Senate agenda. The internal affairs edits were not sent out in the weekly newsletter, so we're going to go ahead and read those before we have the author accept them.
Resolution 5524, addition of campus community reports to the Senate agenda. Abstract. This bill amends Article 3, Section 4A of the ASCSU bylaws to add, quote, campus community reports to the Senate agenda directly below gallery input. This addition allows for a specifically allocated amount of time for any student organization that wishes to share any updates, announcements, or initiatives with the Senate, thereby strengthening the relationship with the broader student body and representative of our branch of government.
Can you read the edits?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find. In terms of edits made, for therefore be it hereby enacted, the first one, Cultural resource centers was struck, which I'm not seeing, but cultural resource centers was removed. And additionally, therefore, number 4 was, that was just a comment, so that was essentially the only edit. Do you accept these edits? Sorry, that's not my job.
Therefore, 1 says cultural resource centers. I believe it says campus community reports shall serve as time for representatives and RSOs.
Yeah, I crossed that out.
Oh, okay, I thought you said that you couldn't find it, my bad.
I did for a sec, but then I found it.
Make sure we start with point of information, point of clarification when we jump in. Thanks, guys.
Point of clarification, I'm probably gonna accept that edit, but can I ask why we made that edit?
We have the chair on.
The order that we'll go ahead and do this in is, the edits weren't sent out, so we have to read all of those edits in full. Then you can accept or deny them. When we're getting to the accept or deny stage, then you can ask the questions. Okay.
Did we read all of them?
The internal affairs one. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. You can ask the question. That is my bad.
No worries. Like I said, I'm probably gonna accept that edit, but I would just like to know why.
Anyone can give a point of clarification to Senator.
Point of clarification, I was the one that spearheaded this edit in the committee, so I can provide the context. Cultural resource centers are already represented by senators in this space, so they're already given a time allocated for them to give result reports, so I don't think it would be appropriate to double up the time that they receive. I also just think it would just kind of bog down time if the reports were like given twice, doubled up on time, like that's for their senators to give during legislative reports. So I don't think we need to move that. That was why I removed it.
Okay, I completely agree with that. I accept those edits.
Also, with the author having accepted the edits, I will now be entering a period of discussion debate on this legislation by first raised placard. Senator Eddington.
Yeah, I think this is a really good piece of legislation. I would strongly encourage all of us to vote yes on this because I think it's important that we have more representations outside of gallery input for the community to come and speak to us. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Singleton.
I agree, this seems like a great idea. I'd motion to previous question.
Second.
Hearing a second, is there any dissent? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move into a period of voting on this legislation. We're going to go ahead and use a voice vote. Oh, wait, no. Chairman Omti.
Motion to approve this piece of legislation with unanimous consent.
Is there any dissent to that means of voting? Hearing none, is there any dissent to the passage of this legislation? This legislation passes. Now moving into new business, now moving out of new business, we're in ending roll call. Chairman Omti.
I make the motion to let, use beginning roll call as ending roll call and let anyone who showed up late hop on now.